Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an airline pilot, and today we're going to have a look at the Flight Sim Studios Embraer 175 1 year after its original release. Technically speaking, almost a year and a month already, but let's not get too precise over here. So we're standing in the Embraer 175 over in Amsterdam. We're going to make a quick flight over to Bremen, which is like a 35-minute hop. Perfect for the KLM City Hopper and rather close to what we did in the past with the airplane as well. So join me up in the cockpit. And there is indeed one thing that I did notice when I stepped into the airplane ever since the last update, and that is that there seems to be quite a bit of wear and tear added in the cockpit. Like if we just have a look at the glacial panel over here, seems like quite a bit of, well, darker pixels seem to be added here. That do seem to make quite a difference in the general look and appear of the aircraft. Now, if we do take a general look around, they did add some dirt pretty much everywhere. Look at the park and brake lever, for example, over here. Even though, personally, when I would sit in a cockpit like that, the first thing I would do is to take some wipes and clean that lever. But, okay. We'll take it like that. Now, likewise, over the past, well, it's been a little while already, they did add a couple of new features like a heads-up display to the airplane. So we didn't choose the HUD on our last flight, so I do suggest that we are going to start using it on this one. Alright, so if we have a general look at all the options that are available over here like so, then my personal favorite is probably still the fly aircraft from the right seat option, but that's just personal flavor. Okay, so that much about all the different options that we do have available in here. Okay, so a couple of things here. Enable virtual PFD interaction. That is one thing that they did have from the very beginning on, but it is an option now, and something that I do really like, that you can change all the values for the autopilot straight on the primary flight display. So they did do some good jobs in adding new stuff. They also did some, well, still outstanding jobs. Unfortunately not outstanding in terms of excellent, but more in terms of where are the features they have promised. Thinking especially about the custom flight management computer here, since we are now, what, over a year into the release cycle, and we have still not gotten the custom FMS, which is kinda required in order to at least be able to fly basic directs and stuff like that. So in order to be able to do basic VATSIM maneuvers. But hey, that's just a lot of complaining again, so I do suggest that we just get straight into it. And you can see all the options they added in the meantime over here, which I'm currently going through while I'm talking. But I do suggest that we have talked kinda enough now, and that we just go ahead and start flying the airplane. Unfortunately, for some reason, I always need to re-enter my username for a SimBrief over here, but well, so be it. And with that, I'd say we've now seen enough. Let's go ahead and start working on our airplane. Right, so default barrel hectopascals, yes, we absolutely do want that. Disable auto brake option, nah, why would we? I mean, just to show you, they did do a nice animation. You've got the auto brake here, but not all Embraers have it fitted. When you remove the auto brake, then this is what it looks like. So, to give them credit, they did do a nice job on the visuals over here, adding that to the cockpit. And they did do quite a bit of work on these points, even though it would be nice if they would finally focus on the important stuff and get that FMS out. Alright, so that much about the general intro over here. I do suggest we'll just fly without the auto brake for now, because, hey, it's kind of nice to have something for a change, is it? Okay, so that much about it. Then let's go ahead and go straight over into the options. But one last thing. I did say I wanted to use the heads-up display, but for some reason I can no longer find it. They did have a heads-up display in this airplane a while ago, did they? But I might just about be blind, but I can not find it anymore. Okay, so be it. Then we fly without heads-up display. could have sworn they added one. But alright. So let's get rid of the covers, let's get rid of the cones, let's get rid of the safety pins. I do wonder what would happen if we started the plane with the engine covers in place though, but hey, let's better not find out. Alright, so here we go. We'll, as always, run the procedures straight out of the manual, even though it would be nice if they explained it in a little bit greater detail. Like, for example, the safety and power-up checklist starts with flight deck checked. What am I checking? You know, background like that. Alright, so, flight deck checked, emergency equipment checked, maintenance status checked, GPU switch is out, APU gen in, batteries 1 and 2 are off, then fuel pumps are on auto, emergency light off. Then we've got the hydraulic system 3 electric pump A off, hydraulic system 1, 2 and 3 electric pumps all on auto. Okay, our landing gear lever is down. Then power plant start and stop 1 and 2 in the stop positions. Speed brake lever close. Interesting call to say that it's closed, but I do suppose we know what's meant here. Alright, so speed brake lever closed, thrust levers idle, battery 1 and 2 on and auto. Sled flap lever agree with the surface position, so that's up, and from the outside check we know that the surfaces are up already. Fire extinguisher panel checked. Now what am I checking here? Please, detailed. We need details. Like, do we just do that? Or what exactly do we do here? Alright, electrical power and air conditioning established. So, man, that's some very bright lights there. Alright, cool, then I do suppose we're going to get ourselves a ground power unit today, like so. And the airplane is powering up. Okay, and that is the safety and power up checklist complete. Interestingly enough, the next checklist we have in the manuals is already the before start checklist, which is kind of strange, seeing that it starts with pre-flight checks complete. Okay, but what pre-flight checks are we supposed to do? You know, this is a little bit unfortunate when developers do things like that, because we basically have no idea what to do. But okay, I do suppose we will just do our own flow then. So I will basically go ahead and check that everything is in auto that's supposed to be in auto, stuff like that. I mean, luckily in the Embraer there isn't really all that much to do. So, as you can see, we basically did about nothing on the overhead. Okay, so press B for the altimeters, or 1014. They actually initialized on that automatically, which is kind of nice as well. Alright, and apart from that, we are basically done with, well, with about everything here. Alright, so then we can move straight on to the MCDU. Now, let's go ahead and start with that. So, interesting by the way that opens on the radio page. Not sure if it's supposed to or, well, who am I to know stuff like that. Alright, so, nav item page, and we do have a current database as of this recording. Then let's go ahead to the route page. Starting in Amsterdam, and over here, in the procedures guide, we do have a procedure for a SimRef import. So a flight plan is created. Now on the route page, enter the destination and flight ID matching with your SimRef flight plan. So we go to Echo Delta Delta Whiskey. And our flight ID, now what is the flight ID? Explanation please. Is it the call sign or is it the flight number? Would be nice to have information like that, but unfortunately it says flight ID, whatever that is meant to be. But okay, looks like the call sign is working here, so flight plan is received. Right, then let's go into the data link flight plan, apply that to the active. And now it's working. Okay, flight plan received. But where is my Destination, where's my company route? Where's my anything? Hello? Try that again, maybe? I mean, sure enough, I did plan a flight. But yeah, nothing in here. That used to work. I mean, let's see, maybe if we... Maybe we need to change it from the call sign to the IATA flight plan. So KL1757. But, you know, this is what I mean with... Why do you... First of all, why doesn't it tell us if it can't find correct data? Okay, now we get check flight ID. Then maybe we try KLM. I mean, now it gets weird, because now I am combining the ICAO airline code with the IATA flight number. So that is strange. That is definitely not... Flight plan received, yeah. This is not logical. You either have the ICAO airline designator, so KLM, and combine that with the ICAO call sign, which is 33 Quebec for our flight, or you have the IATA, designator, which is KL for KLM. But this doesn't make sense. This does absolutely not make sense now. But looks like that is working indeed. Okay. Well, that is nonsense that they programmed here. Okay. Well, so be it. Okay, departure, runway. We're going to depart off runway 24 today. And I tell you what, let's quickly go ahead and actually import that flight in here as well. Yeah, KLM 1757. That is not logical. That is... doesn't make sense to call it like that. But okay. Alright, cool. So, here's our flight plan. Yeah, running a bit late. We're just doing it realistically, my friends. Also interesting that they always use these Chinese names over here for all the crews. I mean, that doesn't make too much sense either, does it? Certainly not on a European airline. But well, they probably hired some Chinese programmers, and that's how it came to that. I really don't know. Alright, well, so be it. Okay, then let's go ahead and do a couple of basic calculations here. Departure, runway 24, condition dry, flaps 2, we'll take that by default. We'll just import the current conditions. And runway 2, well, honestly, we don't need to calculate a second runway. We'll just leave it at that. Alright, so, calculate. We'll keep the weights, everything as it is. For the fuel, we'll make it 3,000 kilogram. Like so. Alrighty, so, calculate that stuff, please. Over to the manifest. And we might just about send that to the MCDU. Yeah, I tell you why. Why not? We'll do it like that. Alright, FO, you can start entering that stuff. I will keep going on the route over here. This is a Spikeable for kilo departure that we're going to fly. Right, load that up. Spikeable for kilo ending. Still no airways in here a year after the release. Well, so be it. You can kind of tell by my talking that I'm getting a little bit frustrated with this airplane. But we did have high hopes in it, so I am kind of trying to keep going with this for as long as possible. Alright, so, can I do without star, please? I just want my transition. Alright. That's okay. So, the FO is still working on the performance, I figure? Well, rather, I hope. But okay, we'll keep going in the meantime, so let's have a look. Can we... Okay, no weather requests, unfortunately. But so be it. ATC. Well, flight ID is of course incorrect in here, but green values, as far as I know, cannot be changed. Okay, so be it, huh? Well, okay, so flight summary doesn't have much data in there yet, but I suppose that is correct. Okay, fuel remaining is still a little bit more than we wanted. Couldn't we load the airplane actually from here? Did believe we could do that. Interesting, I can mark this, but I can't change it. Okay. Well, sometimes this airplane is interesting. Sometimes it is really interesting. How some stuff works and other... Well, okay. Alright, cool. So, in case you are able to load stuff from here, then at least it is not very intuitive. Especially with things like this, you know. Okay, so be it. So be it. Okay. I mean, why is there no button that just says load now and then... Okay, anyway. So now we have 3,000 kilograms. Alright, so now everything should be in. Let's just check that the automatic initialization is correct now. So zero fuel, 31.2, and in here we got 31.2. Okay, so that's correct now. Cruise winds, however, and cruise altitude are not. Well, okay. So, cruising at flight level 230. Cruise winds. Obviously, SimBrief does calculate them, but do we have them anywhere in here? It doesn't look like it, huh? Wind. Is that... Yeah, that's on the ground, 200 at 13. That's my ground weather. Nothing en route. Okay, so be it. But let's just check. I do believe that question mark here is new. Okay, so wind direction, speed selected, Romeo. Yeah, that's probably on the ground then. Okay, well, so be it. We'll keep it at that. Okay, alrighty. So all that good stuff should be in then. Then I will just keep it over here and have a look into the takeoff page. Interesting, over here it did not fill the wind out. Some things you just don't have to understand. So 213. Because this wind it definitely had. Okay, runway slope 0, runway condition 0. Did I not enter that? Okay. Alright, yeah, then let's go on. Flaps 2 takeoff is okay. Onto the takeoff page, speeds seem good. Flaps 2, takeoff pitch 10 degrees. Okay. Alright. Well, I do suppose the speeds are sent to the computers. That's alright. Okay, cool. Well, then we do have that. So then let's go ahead with our checklist. So before start checklist, pre-flight checks complete. Fuel quantity is now checked. MCDU set. Crew oxygen checked. Altimeters 1014 set and cross-checked. Flight instruments set. Passenger signs on. Takeoff briefing complete. I honestly can't be bothered with that right now. Alright, before start checklist complete, down to the line. Well, so it is the taxi out position, it seems, even though those stairs over here will probably prevent that from happening. So I tell you what, we gotta do pushback anyway. Alright, prepare for pushback and departure. And did you just see when I selected GSX that the ground power disappeared? Even though it still seems to be physically connected in here, but well. Alright, then let's just go ahead. APU. Why did we need to pull that 3 times? Well, anyway. Okay, so APU should be coming on. Over here we can go onto the flight plan page. Still no constraints in here, by the way, so still the default route system a year after the original release. Okay, APU is up and running. That was a pretty quick start, by the way, just to mention that. Okay, and with the APU up, we can disconnect the ground power unit. Alright, then, ground menu, get rid of the GPU, get rid of the chocks, and the parking brake is set, so we should be basically ready to go. Okay, so, in here we do have trim 3.5. required. Why is the pitch trim set completely up, by the way? And why does it stop all the time? I just had to press the button over and over again for it to continue running. Probably some automatic stop to prevent a complete pitch trim runaway. But, well, I do suppose if the trim would be set somewhere in the middle by default, that shouldn't be necessary, but it's alright. We'll just keep it as it is, and we'll go flying with that. Alright, so then, let's go ahead. Beacon coming on, and then let's do the before start checklist below the line. Seatbelt shoulder on is checked, takeoff performance set, auto brake is not installed, trim 3.5 set and centered, doors, windows closed, beacon on, transponder, oh yeah, keep forgetting about that one in this airplane. Right, transponder on, park and brake on, and I don't know why the before start checklist tells me engine start. But okay, we'll leave it at that, huh? So what's GSX doing? We're waiting for the pushback, are we? Loading GSX menu, please wait. Am I like totally surrounded by not working programs today? This is slowly but steadily getting frustrating, you know? Why can I not set the speed down to V2? Minimum 2 knots above V2? Any Embraer driver out there can confirm whether that's a bug or a feature? In that case I'll just select V2 plus 20, but I somehow wonder if that's supposed to be. And GSX is not working either. Oh boy, what's going on today? Well, close that. Try again. Yes, no, maybe? Well, looks like that's a no. Okay, in that case, can we get past the stairs somehow? We might just about fit if we go a little bit to the right. Okay, I can't be bothered then. I do suppose we don't have a custom pushback in here? No. At least none that I can find. If you do know better, then please do put it in the comments below. Alright, well, in that case, let's go ahead and start the engines. So, engine 1 start. And 2. Oil pressure. And 1. And the engine is lighting up. Alright, that seems to be almost a good start on engine number 1, so let's go ahead with engine number 2 next. I just quickly want to check one thing, because we do get an N1 indication for engine number 2 there with 0.2. But okay, it's very slightly windmilling. Very slightly. I do wonder if the airplane is supposed to still show you an N1, but hey. It's not a nonsense indication, that's at least something. Even though it might be overly precise, because most aircraft that I've flown so far were not able to actually detect any N1 that was really, really low. But okay, so be it. So we've got N2, oil pressure, N1. Hydraulic 2 low pressure, hydraulic 3A. 3 pump A not on. Okay. Is this thing supposed to be that bright? Alright, so we do have 2 good engine starts. Then let's go ahead with the after start procedure. Flap set, APU is coming off, hydraulic 3A pump on. Okay, flight control check. So, full up, full down, neutral, full left, full right, neutral. By the way, do notice how the flight control respond before my actual control column does. Like right now we're on full right. Now watch the ICAS indication and then watch the animation of the control column. So if I'm going full left now, got full left on the indications long before the control column reaches the full left position. That's interesting. Alright, and the rudder, full left, full right. Same thing with, again with the animation not being correct, but okay, so be it. Alright, so that looks about alright. Then, after start checklist, flaps, 2 set, APU, well, here it is, APU off, hydraulic system 3, elec pump A on, flight controls checked, taxi light, nose side, coming on. Don't need that one, those 2. Alright, and that's the after start checklist complete. Alright, so sorry for these stairs over here, but if GSX doesn't work again, then we just gotta make our way through the middle. That's gonna be expensive. So anybody who wants to apply for a pilot job with KLM Cityhopper right now seems to be your opportunity. There will be a free captain's job right now. Right, and let's get rid of that over here. And probably a free first officer job as well for not preventing the captain from doing this. But okay, can certainly live with that. At least for as long as I'm flying this particular plane here. Alright, just joking. So, clear right side, clear left side. So, let's review the takeoff briefing. It's going to be a left seat takeoff, runway 24, spike about 2 kilo departure. Climb to 5,000 initially, and the takeoff speeds are going to be 134, 138, 140, and clean speed 193, which we can go straight away. There are no speed restrictions along that route. Now, for our emergencies, we can just go straight at. It's basically flat terrain over here. Climbing 3,000 is going to keep us safe, even though the MSA is below 2,000 feet in the entire departure sector. Only over the city it's a little bit higher. Alright, apart from that, I don't have any specials. The sit straight out right hand turn, climb to 5,000 is set, engine anti-ice is not needed, wing anti-ice is neither. Okay, any questions? Nope? Excellent. Alright, so Toga is armed. Yeah, VNAV's still not there, but we can keep the FMS on the speed mode, please. And 160 knots. Alright, so should basically be ready for about everything, with this airplane in particular. Okay, before takeoff checklist. Cabin secured, takeoff data reviewed, ICAS checked, brake temperatures checked, Takeoff config. Did we have to press a separate button here? Yes, we did. Okay, so... Okay, perfect. Takeoff config checked. And landing and strobe lights coming on as soon as we line up on the runway, which is basically now. And that's the before takeoff checklist complete. Alright, so no auto brake. In case of a rejected takeoff, we need to brake ourselves immediately. Runway 24 is confirmed. And we're clear on the right side. Okay, ready? Now let's go for it. Take off. So, take off auto thrust. Should have pressed that button before, of course. That was my mistake. Checked. Okay, it did not say rotate, so be it. I'll do it anyway. Positive climb. Gear up. LNAV. So we're above 400. Let's give the autopilot a try. And level change is on. Alright, bug up. Do something like 210 at first. Above the green dot, flaps 1. And above the green dot again, flaps up. Nice looking airplane, that's for sure. About the systems you can say whatever you want, but the model of this is really good. The model is really good, that's for sure. Right then, all the way up, flight level 230. And here we go. Set. 23,000 checked. After takeoff checklist, landing gear up, APU off, simulator freeze. Wait a moment, that was not part of the checklist. Okay, here it works again, and the engine's just spooled up during that. Not sure why that happened. Probably the transition to climb thrust over there. Well, maybe. Alright, but slats flaps up after takeoff checklist complete. This is interesting. This basically tells me it's supposed to bank to 25 degrees. It's doing like 28 or so. Also, flight director and the flight path symbol still don't seem to overlay exactly correctly. But that's just something I do notice here. So, set standard. Send a cross-check passing level 57. Now, checked. Alright, so slightly off track over here. I even kept the speed low for it. But okay, then let's start accelerating towards 250. Couple of clouds coming over there, might be a case for the anti-ice, but that should be automatic. Now, when I say might be a case for the anti-ice, I really mean it might, but it must not. So if we do have a look at the gauges, then we can see we currently got a TAT of plus 3 degrees. So that is possible icing conditions, but only possible. It's not like granted that you will get anti-ice requirements in there. So no, I should say that the other way around. At a temperature of plus 3 entering clouds, obviously in any airplane that does not have automatic anti-icing, you would turn the anti-ice on. However, that's just a precautionary measure. It is not granted that you really need anti-icing in there. But you can see it's opening in there. Anti-ice wing valve open. I wonder why not the engines though? I mean, when it senses icing on the wings, then it sure enough should also sense icing on the engines, right? Or is my understanding of the system incorrect there? Might very well be. I'm not saying that I do know everything about the Embraers. I surely don't. But just something that comes to my mind here. Okay, so the big question. Alright, now it says icing conditions, anti-ice wing valve open. Okay. So that's what I meant. You might or might not have icing in conditions like these. I don't think there is any sure conditions where you can say the airplane is icing up, except from freezing rain and freezing fog maybe. Even freezing fog it may or may not ice up. Alright, passing 10,000. Lights off, signs. Yeah, tell you what, let's turn them off. And we can put the taxi lights off as well. And then speed, let's make it fast. Let's go 300. That's a little bit above the normal climb schedule, so if our rates of climb don't turn out that well, then that is expected. And nothing to blame the airplane for. Okay, so this bank now looks much better. It's doing a shallow turn to the right and it's using, you know, some 10 degrees, a little bit less. That's perfectly fine. That is how the airplane should do it. That's exactly how the airplane should do it. And let's just go here. Nav 8's off. Because that was a little bit too many for my taste. A little bit too many. But looking at the display over here, something positive I notice is that we are not flooded with a gazillion different airports on our display. So it looks like, let's just check. Yeah, the airport display is on. So it looks like they are finally applying some filter in there, which removes all those very small airports that otherwise would be rather disturbing and basically make the display unusable. You will surely remember that on my first flights with the Embraer, I always used the Nav 8 display rather than the airport display, and that was for that very reason, that the plane just showed us all those airports that we didn't need because we basically couldn't use them. But now we basically just get a filtered view over here. I'm not sure where the filter is set. I mean, we could see Niederrhein down there, which is like a 2,000 meter runway. A couple over here, which are, well, I do believe that's Tango Whiskey's Twente or something the likes. But yeah, not quite sure if we can actually make out the actual point, but well, doesn't matter too much. The important thing is that they do seem to apply some filtering there now, which is certainly welcome. Alright, so climbing at just 1,400 feet a minute, maybe a little bit less, so let's go performance, climb. Let's see, where can we adjust? Come on, airplane. Performance, ground limit, no, no. Right. Trying to find where I can increase the thrust. Oh, TRS. Okay, yeah, that's too easy. That's certainly too easy. Let's go climb one. And look at that. 5% more N1. Less even. 3% more N1. And that's almost 1,000 feet a minute. Now that is a very good increased climb that we're getting over here. Now the interesting question, can the plane do directs now? Why am I even asking this? But let's try. Let's go direct to Eelde, see what's gonna happen. Didn't I put Eelde on top? Okay, let's try ASCOM. That seems okay. Is it really going from the present position? Pretty much. Impressive. We'll try that again a little bit later on, once we're somewhere in the middle of the route, just to find out if that was coincidence, because previously it used to do the direct from the last waypoint that we overflew. Maybe we just flew over one just now, and maybe that's what's causing the direct to function. But for now, this actually seems like the airplane does fly direct. That would be very much appreciated if it could finally do these. Alright, so we are climbing up level 230 right now. However, we will need to start our descent rather soon-ish again. So from level 230 there is, well, basically there is still no VNAV in here. We can clearly see that. That is not doing any calculations for us. But come back to the actual planning. So level 230, 23 times 3, so we need 69 miles in order to lose our altitude, plus another 10 to lose the speed, so we're looking at 79 miles. Let's make it 80 in order for things to get easy. So 80 miles for our descent. Got 119 in here right now, but I do believe this is still with all the I do believe that is still with all the entire transition in there, so let's just see. Come on. I would like to... I want to zoom, I want to... Yeah, thanks. Yeah. This is still with the entire on-off transition in there. What's it doing now? Hello? Interesting. From the point where we enter the star, it cannot go ahead on the flight plan. Bug. But okay, what we'll do anyway is we'll try to go direct Delta Whiskey 402, so that we end up nicely on a downwind over here, because I don't really see why we should fly all the way to the north here. In the real world they do that so that they can descend the aircraft in a controlled airspace, but looking at Flight Radar and looking at how those flights are typically conducted, they are basically just going straight, in a straight line in the real world as well. So either radar vectors onto the downwind or direct Delta Whiskey, something on here, and then eventually turn inbound. Now, what we are gonna do is the following. 11745 should be the local airfield VOR. Let's go ahead and put that active. Yeah, DME Bremen, even though I don't know why this reads -0, that surely doesn't make any sense. However, we should start receiving that any moment, and the Bremen VOR DME is basically located just on the field over here, so should basically be able to use that in order to judge our distance from the field, because this, of course, this distance over here is going to give us the entire route like this, which we don't really intend to fly like that, so we need to do a little bit of tricking and calculating on our own here, but that is alright, we will definitely be able to do that. Okay, approaching 1,000 to go. Vertical speed. What's it doing now? Alt? No. I did press vertical speed, did I? Let's try that again. Now it works. But why on earth does it have to level off? These small things. I mean, that surely can't be too hard to correct for the developers. And they've had a year now since the initial release. Alright, so we're in the middle of the leg to ASCOM. Let's see if we can go direct to the Delta Whiskey point now. 402. We can. And it's doing it from the present position. Excellent. So we did get some good features there. Even though I'm not sure why we get the original waypoint still shown here, but hey, it's working. And it is flying direct to a waypoint on the star. That's worth pointing out as well. Because previous versions had the problem that you couldn't fly direct to a point on the star. But very good to see that that is working now, so there is some progress in there. I mean, compared to version 1.0, there is obviously a lot of progress, even though much of the complicated stuff is still missing at this point. But nonetheless, good to see that we do have some progress in there. Alright, excellent. So, inbound to the downwind lag. Let's see what we got there. I mean, the Delta Whiskey point is basically a beam the field, so if we say that after that we take 25 miles to fly, then what is this? Okay, there is a buck in there. And where are we turning? It's just intercepting the route or something? I mean, it should have drawn a curve when we started the direct, so that it could really fly direct rather than intercepting the straight line from the point where you put the direct to the next waypoint, but okay. In any case, what I was about to talk about is the progress bar up here in the distance. See that, next Delta Whiskey 402, we got 85 miles in there, but it's giving us exactly the same distance to destination. That does not make a lot of sense. Now, likewise, the estimated time and route calculation are there. Why is it telling us an hour and 18 minutes when up here it just says 10 minutes to get a beam the field? And obviously those 10 minutes here are pretty much correct. We can easily cross-check that by looking at our ground speed, which is 470 knots up there. So you can basically say 60 knots means 1 nautical mile per minute. So if we have a look at this, we are basically running at about 8 nautical miles per minute, so 80 miles obviously equals 10 minutes, so that is correct. But wherever it's saying an hour and 18 minutes to the destination, I mean, this is all stuff that within 1 year of development time I would absolutely be expected to be fixed. Likewise for the Bremen DME up there, why it's saying -0 miles, I got no idea about that. So that's all stuff, you know, that I would expect fixed in an airplane a year after the release. Alright, anyway, so to do a little bit of mathematics, Delta Whiskey 402 is a beam the field, so let's say we fly for 10 miles outbound, 4 miles base turn, 10 miles inbound, so that's 25 miles subtracted, so 65 miles inbound Delta Whiskey 402. We need to start our descent on a 3-degree path in order to make it down. Well, seems roughly alright. So, anything that we need to do in here still? What's the progress page saying, by the way? Distance to go, 70 miles. Yeah, that's incorrect. Really no idea where that comes from, but it's definitely incorrect. Also interesting that it says that our from waypoint on the progress page here is ASCOM, while ASCOM is still in front of us. Certainly not the from waypoint. But okay. Yeah, then let's go ahead with the approach setup. Oh boy, is it really? Yeah, it is once again. Signing me out. A Navigraph. That starts to become annoying as well. It keeps doing that on many aircraft these days, so that's probably something with Navigraph. Okay. So, enter the verification code. Like, seriously? Okay. Why make it more complicated, really? 8 November, Fox Tango 2. And Kilo X-Ray Juliet. This is annoying, like, why need to do that? But okay, here we go. So, Bremen load. In the meantime, 60 miles out, so let's go ahead and start our descent. And we'll do that with FPA. Oh, okay, I'm dialing the wrong button, that is alright. That goes on me. Here we go, -3 down. Okay, then let's keep going over here. So, Bremen, we're looking for the approach charts. ILS Zulu, approach runway 27. Thank you. So, 110.9 and 266, minimum 214. But let's start right over here with the minimums. So, 214 is going to become 220. What else do we have? 110.9 on the frequencies. Why did it register a 5? Right. Unbelievable. 1109. Thank you. Alright, so that stuff is set. By the way, squawk 0. Let's just change that. Alright, that's better. We'll already set it active on nav 2. I'll keep Bremen VOR on nav 1. Here we go, now we're getting an indication at least. Okay, so that's pretty much that part. Then let's go performance, landing. So, do we have any of that stuff available? We do. However, not directly in the airplane. So, latest weather in Bremen right now is wind 220 at 10, cavalcade 5 degrees 1014. So 5, 220 at 10, and that's about it. Approach type speeds for a Cat 1 approach looks good. We're going to make this flaps 5 landing, that's fine with me. Runway heading should have been filled automatically, but so be it. Alright, so that's our landing speeds. Happy with that. Alright, so that stuff is in. What else can we do? Not a lot really. I mean, can't pre-select the courses in here. I mean, we could obviously just go to heading and then back to LNAV. So let's do that. Heading, VLOG. So, course, we're looking at 266. That one, interestingly enough, we cannot change up here. Doesn't make much sense to me, but so be it. So then we gotta set it over here. Okay, 266 set on nav2, and we'll also set it in nav1. I'm trying to press and hold the course button here, but that doesn't work. So we can really only scroll on it, and you can see how darn slow that is. Right, 266 is set on both sides. Awesome. So then for now we go back to nav mode, LNAV. Passing 15,000, we're going to turn the seatbelts on. Why is it turning to the right now? Did we drift a little bit while we weren't heading? Yeah, tiny bit. Okay, that's fair enough with me. Alright, so with that done, let's go ahead with the descent checklist. Lights and seatbelt signs set. Altimeters set. Landing data reviewed. Auto brake not installed. Seatbelt and shoulder harness checked. Approach briefing complete. Descent checklist complete. By the way, just to mention it, on the very top of the checklist page there is a red disclaimer saying the following content is based on a real checklist of the aircraft type but is adapted to flight simulation. to the Flight Simulator version and therefore not to be used for real aviation. And even though they say adapted to the Flight Simulator version, they always say seatbelts and shoulder harness. I mean, why? Okay, so we're established on the downwind. Let's go ahead and set the altitude all the way down to 3000 for the start to 3000. Here we go. Okay, set QNH. QNH 1014 cross check, passing 10,700 now. Checked. Okay, level change. We'll get the speed down. Speed 250 set. Approaching 10,000, lights are coming on. Awesome. Right, so that's Bremen just in front of us. The airport should be located just about somewhere over there. Yeah, I think that's the airport over there. Long field with a couple of large buildings next to it. That usually is an indication of an airport. Right, slightly speeding over here, but that is fine. We are reducing the speed after all. I might just have started reducing it a little bit earlier, that would of course have helped, but hey. Okay, so we got about 10 miles until we're abeam, so we have roughly 30 miles to fly. So if we do a bit of mathematics here, 9,000 feet times 3 means 27 miles, plus 5 miles to lose our airspeed, so we need 32, we've got, yeah, some 30-ish, so we should be rather good. Now the airplane is descending a little bit steeper than the standard figures, but that's fine. 300 knots ground speed. So the standard rule would be 1500 feet a minute. This one is descending a tiny bit quicker, but that is alright. Because it means that we will be down a bit earlier and therefore have a little bit of an easier life later on to reduce our speed and then turn final as we are just about established. On altitude, I mean. Just to be sure about that. Okay, so, let's see, do we have an approach checklist here? No, we don't. In the 737 we usually said we want to be abeam the field on 7,000. In the A330 even a little bit lower. Now we'll be abeam the field in maybe 6,000 or something with the Embraer, so we are certainly on the conservative side here. I'll tell you what, since we might just about go vertical speed as well. Why is it pitching up? Why is it climbing? Look at that, it's climbing. And vertical speed, 1700 down. Is there anything wrong about that? I'm not seeing things incorrect now, am I? This says 1700, this says down, and we're in vertical speed mode, and it's leveling off. Why? Just literally why? Let's see if I now change this. Oh yeah, once I change it, it can all of a sudden start to descend again. What an airplane. What a mess. Right, so beam the field just above 6,000. Can we spot the field somewhere over there? Yeah, there it is. That's it. So still basic autopilot functionality that's not working there. Not even talking about VNAV, even the basic modes don't work correctly. That's really a shame. Alright, so let's go level change and we'll start getting our speed down towards 200 roughly. Okay, and then we should be ready to start our base turn in a few moments. Let's continue present heading. So, beam rockbow, we should be in 3000 down here. So that's rockbow 3000, 3 miles to run on the base turn, so we're doing good in terms of altitude. So going to be interesting to see if it can accept another direct here in a few moments, now that we're actually on the star. By the way, just to talk about it, next waypoint, 15 miles, distance to destination, 9 miles. Says a lot about the logic of the airplane. Likewise, the estimated time en route. I mean, no idea what it's calculating there, but okay. Okay, let's start a right-hand turn. We're looking for a heading of 180. Here we go, heading 180. So, source we're going to put onto the VOR and radio switch that around please to the ILS. Here we go, thank you. And then let's do direct to Rockbow. Invalid action arrival. Really? Okay, no comment on that. For a moment I thought that bug would have been fixed, but nope. It's not. Okay, we'll start reducing our speed a little bit further. Down to 180, flaps 1, speed checked. Okay, right turn heading 240, cleared ILS. So heading 240, approach armed, lock. Interesting that it just tried to bank level again before continuing the turn. Okay, localizer alive. So now you're gonna bank, my friend. You're going to overshoot that. The localizer is showing strange behavior. I have a feeling those needles are still incorrect. I mean, yeah, they are. The glide slope should come in much quicker. There's still something wrong with the scale of the localizer and the glide slope needles here. Okay, flaps 2. Glide slope captured. I mean, this is basic stuff. This is really, really basic stuff that the plane is doing wrong there, like incorrect localizer and glide slope scales. I mean, that's in since the very first version of the product, and I mean, that is very basic flying, especially for an airplane that doesn't even have automatics at the moment. That would be essential to work correctly. But yeah. So be it, huh? Alright, gear down, flaps 3. What's it doing now? Okay, here we go, 3. Right, then the approach was 138, flaps 5. And the B4 landing checklist, please. Flight attendants notified, landing gear down, 3 green. Oh. Yep. Flaps 5 and landing light is on. B4 landing checklist complete. So let's give it a try. We're gonna do that stuff manually. So auto thrust off, autopilot off, and let's see how it's going to fly. So our speed is set. Looks like pretty much everything is rather nicely on schedule here. Only the flight director is commanding a rather strong left turn. Well, let's give it a little bit. Just make sure we stay on the center line. Well, the flight director is definitely over commanding down there. And 1000 is checked. Man, those are some rather high waters down there. A little bit turbulence here, but not too bad. Continue. By the way, do have an eye on the glide slope scale. That should be moving through so quickly right now, and we basically don't get a reaction, even at over 1,000 feet a minute. We are just stuck with a needle in the middle. It's basic stuff that's wrong. A year after the release. Okay, a little bit of turbulence here that we need to fight.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
And we're down. Okay, will you give me a reverse, please? Hello, reverse. No? Okay, then it's not going to give me a reverse. So be it. 100 knots. $60 knots. Okay, and vacating the runway. Finally, we survived the flight. That's probably the best thing we can take away from this. The best thing possible. Okay, after landing checklist, lights, set as needed, flaps up, trim 4 units, and standing by for APU start. Alright, we made it to Bremen. I'm going to start the APU as soon as we are actually entering the apron. We will be parking at a position with the jetway attached, so it's going to be somewhere over there, so the APU will have sufficient time to start running up, since it is rather quick in this airplane. General aviation parking over here. And we're entering the apron. Nope. That's why a second pilot would be handy. Okay, APU starting. Now have an eye down here at how quickly the APU is actually running up. That's a pretty quick thing there. Alright, and the next stand, got our name written on it. Lights going off. And here we go. Okay, APU is running. Come on, plane, you can do the last couple meters. Slowly but steadily. The good thing is it does taxi and idle thrust. Alright, and here we are. Perfect. So, park and brake is set, then let's go ahead and shut down 2, shut down 1. Cabin crew, all doors in park. Okay, the engines are running down. Shutdown checklist. Transponder. Off. Chocks and brakes. We've got the brakes set. Engines off. Hydraulic pump 3A off. Right, shutdown checklist complete. So here we are, guys. 1 year after the original release of the Flight Sim Studio Embraers. Now, what can we take away from this? Well, the planes are slowly coming together, but we are definitely far from a final state of the aircraft. If they continue at this pace, personally I would guesstimate another year at least until we are getting to a halfway decent state of the plane, like where most aircraft actually are when they originally get released. Because right now the version we have over here is, in my opinion, still more buggy than most aircraft that get released even as an early access, even for early access standards. And remember that we only got this as early access because of the videos that I myself and other YouTubers made and the devastating feedback they got on the original release. So if we do remember all of that and then see what the status of the plane is now 1 year after the original release, then I do think it is rather fair to say that while the Flight Sim Studio Embraers do look good, they still have a long way ahead of them. And even right now, they did release a second airplane type in the meantime, which you have to pay for again with the Embraer 190 and 195. So they are making good cash on the airplane, but let's be honest over here, even right now, a year after the original release, the plane is still not really in a shape where it could even keep on head-to-head with other normal releases at this time. So, in my opinion, in my private opinion, still a shame that we have a plane in the state it is right now. This should still be under severe development, and they are working on it, but there is so many things that still don't work, and selling that out to customers is, well, even a year after, in my opinion, still not the thing to do. But now it's your turn. Let me know what you think about this airplane in the comment section below the video, and I'm very much looking forward to read your take on this one. Obviously there has been a good progress with the airplane, or rather there has been a steady progress I should say, and well, compared to the first release, which was not even what I would define as an early alpha. Right now it's maybe in an alpha state or something the likes, but still the entire FMS missing a year after the release is really unfortunate, and something that they're hopefully going to correct on. Now, I did of course read the previews that they posted with, oh, it's basically already put in, but yeah, we're just holding off. Yeah, keep talking, I believe it when I see it in my airplane. So, that is basically my final feedback for today's flight. I do hope that in the future they are going to deliver on their promises, but at this point we will just have to wait and see what's going to happen. So, that's probably the best feedback that I can give at this particular point in time. So with that, thank you very much for watching, and I'm looking forward to see you all again on the next one. Be sure to let me know your opinion, especially if you're an owner of the early access of the Flight Sim Studio Embraers. Let me know your opinion in the comments below the video. If you did like the video, be sure to leave a like on YouTube as well, and then I'm looking forward to read your take on this one in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and if you really love what I'm doing, I would appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me Coffee link in the video description below. Thank you for watching, and see you all again on the next one.